What's up, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint back with another statue unboxing and review. We have the SIDESHOW Collectibles Punisher premium format. This is the exclusive number 236 out of 2000. We'll do an unboxing and a review, so stay tuned. Alright, here we have the art box. You have the picture of the statue on the front here. Nice kind of smoke and skull logo on the back here. White stripes, typical art box. Let's go ahead and get them out of the styrofoam. Alright, here goes the box. Let's go ahead and get them open. We'll take a look at each piece. We'll do it in assembly, and then we'll review Punisher. Alright, so here's what we get in the box. Let's go ahead and grab the base first. Actually, not forget that. Let's grab Kingpin's cane first. Oh yeah, got the Gem Mint diamond on top, or the gem. Broken Kingpin's thing. Come on, man. He didn't take down the Kingpin crime like that. Alright, so that's that. Here's the base. Kind of like a marble stairs kind of base. Looks like he must be walking in the Kingpin's home or what have you. I like the rust look there. We'll talk about that in the review. Alright, and then here is the bottom. Premium format, 236 out of 2000. Down here we have his right hand with the baseball bat. Louisville Slugger. That's what they called me in high school. I'm just joking. Alright, here's the body. Now, I know SIDESHOW uses two different factories, right? Because statues like the Juggernaut, the Hulk maquettes, the Rogue maquette, the Cable, never have all these, all the styrofoam all over the place like this. That only seems to happen at the cheaper factories that they seem to use, and that's what we'll talk about when we get into the review of this piece. But here's the body. Not too shabby. Oh, this is the smoke that comes out of the gun, which forms a skull. This is pretty weird. It has a twist tie on it. It looks kind of different. It doesn't even look like the skull anymore. Am I tripping? I mean, I guess you can kind of see it. It wouldn't be Punisher without some weaponry. Alright. You got his left hand with another gun. I like that pinky out, showing a little bit of class with it. This is probably a gun that goes in a holster somewhere. Yeah, it looks like it has a little magnet key right there. Now I think this head is actually the exclusive, and that the painted head is the regular. Let's take a look at this guy. So it's got the type of eyes that only really look good from one angle. If you look at it like dead on, it looks a little bit cross-eyed. I do really like how they did the collar here. I think we'll talk about that later on in the review. Instead of just making it like a circular seam, they put his collar on this part so that it hides the seam. I mean, he looks good. He looks pretty good, I guess. And then you have the regular head. And if you're part of the statue community on Facebook, or if you're on the forums, you'll know that this was kind of a topic of controversy, that the factory did not really reproduce the prototype paintwork as good. They made this more solid, and even down here where it was more messy on the prototype, and it looked more realistic on the prototype. However, looking at this in hand, if you hadn't seen the prototype, this looks pretty good. I mean, the hair on here, I've seen some pictures where that looked pretty bad, but looking at this in hand, it actually looks really good. All right, pieces are on the table. Let's go ahead and assemble Punisher. Styrofoam everywhere. All right, so this one has a peg right here and a key in his other foot. Boom. All right, where's all this other stuff go? Let's put a head on him. That is the exclusive head. Put on the left hand. Now, I don't really know how this goes. Oh, there is a peg here. Okay, where's that go? Oh. The straps on his back. Then we have the hand with the baseball bat. All right. Now, where does this gun go? This has a little key here. Should have probably looked at a picture or something before I did the review. All right, anyway, let's try to get this smoke thing in here. All right, so that's a good look with his unpainted face, the exclusive portrait. Let's go ahead and put the regular portrait on. All right, there he goes, man. So the Kingpin cane, I believe, can just go anywhere here. I mean, I guess you could put the gun on the floor anywhere as well. So, there goes Punisher. Punisher first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's one of the most popular Bronze Age key issue comics, probably right under Hulk 181 and Giant Size X-Men 1. Cult following of a character. He's a vigilante whose family got murdered during a picnic. They got caught up in a mafia war crossfire, and he became the Punisher. His whole thing is people like Spider-Man and these heroes put people away just to break out, but when he puts them down, they stay down. So he kills bad guys. Does that make him a bad guy? In the eyes of the law, yes, and other heroes. But his motives are to get the scum off the streets. I first saw this statue, I believe it was New York Comic Con 2018, and it was a surprise reveal along with the Spider-Man Premium format and the Venom life-size bust, and everybody was talking about this piece. It looked really good, and it still looks really good. I think the painted face was something that I don't even think I've seen them do in the comics, and it was an artistic liberty that really paid off, and it really added a lot more to the character. I thought the piece was really was a really cool piece, and I wanted to review for the channel. The problem with this piece, I don't think that it really companions well with anything. I mean, I've seen pictures of it next to the Daredevil Premium format, which is on the rooftops. Doesn't really go well with them. I would love to see them make a Kingpin one that companions this. There is a custom one that is made to kind of have a similar base, which would be the only option right now, and it looks pretty good. But otherwise, it's kind of like a standalone piece. And getting into the concept, what I liked about it is that it's a museum pose, but him walking down the stairs makes it more dynamic. It tells more of a story. It definitely looks like some fancy type of rich person house, like Kingpin's house, marble stairs, and it's been destroyed. You can see that column is busted through. You have a lot of cool detail, like you have the rebar showing, you have rust. The rust is even kind of dirtying up the concrete around it. You have shell casings on the floor, a lot of rubble on the floor, which is all sculpted in and looks really well. The Punisher himself, I mean, he looks really good. Like, honestly, the pants have a great texture to them and a lot of wrinkles and waviness in them. The pockets, the boots have a leather type of texture and zippers, and the zippers are even painted. It looks really good. A lot of utility stuff going around on his belt, including grenades, which are just sculpted on there. They're probably glued on through the factory, but they're there. I don't really love how the gun sits on his shoulder like that. It feels a little bit loose. I don't really like when you see like hobgoblins or green goblins have that same kind of issue with their bag that holds pumpkin bombs. I do remember the smoke on the gun being a little bit different. I don't know. It looks warped. I don't know. It looks weird now. I remember you being able to see the skull head on. But I tell you what, during Comic-Con when they first showed this, that was a big selling point. It was a kind of cool little Easter egg, the smoke from his gun forming into the Punisher logo. His shirt looks awesome. Like, there's a different kind of texture on the shirt. The skull is another thing that looks different from the prototype, but not seeing them side by side, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. Nothing looks wrong. It looks okay. I love how they did the arms with the sleeves. How this shirt has been washed a few times. It's got some kind of cuts and tears, and the same thing around his neck. I love how they added that little collar. If they didn't do that and just made it a regular collared shirt, I mean, they probably still could have hid the seam, but doing it like this, you can't tell if the seam is like, does his head go inside of that collar? Does that whole thing lift up? And I thought that was a really good look. I like when statues kind of take the whole upper area and make that the head. Any way you could hide the seams is going to be the best. Also, what I liked about this piece and a lot of other people is that his main weapon in here is a baseball bat. I mean, he has guns over his shoulder, a gun in his hand, but the baseball bat is what your eye is drawn to, and it's not what you typically see for a Punisher weapon. So I thought that was a really good touch, and it just added a different look to a Punisher statue, which, you know, there's a lot of them out there. We kind of already talked about the portraits. I mean, it's sculpted well. I think the biggest gripe is just that the factory couldn't replicate what Sideshow's crew were able to do in California. Side by side, it's really bad. Having it in person like this, it's really not a big deal. You know, I probably have the picture up right now of the prototype. That prototype was awesome. If you had that head on one of these, it would be amazing. But now it's just good, if that makes sense to you guys. But everything is sculpted really well. I forget what the cost of this piece was. It's a premium format. It was probably around $580 to $600. I'll put up an asterisk here. I didn't like research all this before I did the review. But that's pretty much Punisher. You know, actually what's funny is I think he might pair well with my custom Agent Venom up there because they're both like black and white with guns out and everything. So that might actually be a good pairing. Otherwise, it's a good Punisher. I mean, I've had the Iron Studios Punisher, which compared to this feels more stiff. Just museum pose on top of a building ledge. Mine came broken, so I had to return it because they didn't have replacements. The XM Studios Punisher might still be my favorite, but it's got the whole motorcycle thing going for it. So that's kind of not really fair. But I do like this piece. It actually is really nice. Let's go ahead and do some measurements on them. Alright, so to the top of the bat, Punisher he's about 22 inches tall. Pretty tall for a PF. The depth of this piece, it's about 10 inches. And the width is also about 10 inches. So a small footprint, a little bit tall. But, you know, it's a cool statue. I mean, in this day and age, you have this digital sculpting, and they really enhance the fabric look. These sculpted pants look like mixed media. It looks that good. So that's all I got to say about Punisher. Overall, I think it's a good piece. I thought I was gonna actually be a little bit more disappointed, but I'm actually pretty much digging this piece. Maybe I'll try to get him up there next to Agent Venom and shoot you guys a shot at the end of this video. Let me know what you think about Punisher in the comments below. Make sure to drop me a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I drop daily content, statue reviews as often as I can, but a lot of other content as well surrounding omnibus, single issues, and comic book related things. Thanks for watching. You guys stay minty fresh. Peace. Alright guys, there's a quick little look at him in the corner here next to Agent Venom. Kind of go together, right? Black and white, some guns. I'm a man of my word. Peace.